Whose stock is up, whose stock is down in fantasy football after week 9. The morning games just ended, and I want to start with the most exciting one, Cincinnati versus the Bears. Ever since the Joe Flacco trade, I was really high on the Cincinnati offense, especially T. Higgins and Flacco. You see, if you want to be a guy who wins 36% of your fantasy football leagues over 20 plus years, you have to look at a team situation more than trying to be an NFL talent scout. And this Bengals defense is historically bad, which is a historically good situation for the receivers in the offense. I have no problem with Flacco as a top 10 QB as long as he's starting. T. Higgins is a hurricane, and I've rated him higher than most experts because he can go off like this any given week, and this is an elite situation. But the performance I'm actually most interested in this game is from Chase Brown. Samaj Piran had been the clear third down running back, as well as a guy who was gaining on first and second down. He was the leading rusher last week. This was Chase Brown week. He had 14 targets, which is one of the highest totals any running back has had all year long. He's back to where we thought he was in the preseason, where I had him higher than most experts as a top 10 running back. Has had one of the hardest schedules of any running back up into this week. Now has one of the easiest schedules of any running back for the rest of the season. Even without scoring a touchdown, he gets a clear boost. If you're curious exactly where I rank all these players, by the way, they're available at my site fansports.com. I'm updating the rankings every time I mention a guy in this video, actually. For the Bears, I give a slight uptick to Caleb Williams, but keep in mind this is the Cincinnati defense, but I do love the fact that he showed more rushing ability this game. Already had him higher than most experts though, but I do have to downgrade Rome Odunze. 0 catches in a game where your team scores 47 points is definitely a bad look. I still think he's a good buy low actually after this week, still around a top 15-ish wide receiver because of the situation, but the emergence of Colston-Loveland may hurt his target share a bit. Speaking of Loveland, I called him as my key tight end to target going into this week, and he paid off. I love the fact that I started him in a lot of leagues. He'll still put up some donuts, so I'm not quite ready to say that he's a top 10 tight end, more in that top 12 to 15 range. And I also highlighted Kyle Monangai in that same video, Nesto's Crystal Ball. But to be honest, even with this monster performance, I don't think that he pulls ahead of DeAndre Swift. I think it's going to be a 50-50 split when DeAndre Swift returns. Whew, that was a lot just from that one game. Let me jump to the other games now. I've already been higher on Jackson Dart than most experts, but I love Jackson Dart for fantasy. He is a top 8 quarterback for me at this point. 4th straight game with a rushing TD. This is probably the best rushing quarterback in fantasy right now, honestly. Tyrone Tracy gets a downgrade. Didn't do anything this game and actually got out-carried by Devin Singletary. Got a downgrade Tucker Kraft, Matthew Golden, and Kayshon Boutte, all because of injuries. Also moving up, Rico Dowdle. It's clear that he is the identity of this team. A consequent downgrade, not so much for Chuba Hubbard, but for Tet McMillan. I liked him for his volume upside, but now this is a run-first offense with a pretty good defense as well. There could be a little bit of a void in the Green Bay receiving hierarchy now, so I give an upgrade to Romeo Doubs as well as Jaden Reed, who's coming back from injury soon. Drake London stays where I had him. Just a reminder that receivers often rely on big weeks like this to have their overall point totals go up. Got to downgrade my guy Kamani Vidal, sadly. His run may be coming to an end. He was splitting carries with Jarrett Patterson by the end of this game. Hopes of him maintaining relevance after the return of O'Marion Hampton were severely diminished after this game. Also downgrading Cortland Sutton. I've had him lower than most experts for a while, but experts had him in as a top 12 receiver at one point. To cut this down by about a minute in editing, by the way, full video is available at my Patreon. I post there before I post it live everywhere else. Time to go update fansports.com while this video uploads. I'm trying to give you the best fantasy football rankings on the whole internet. Thank you all so much for spending a few valuable minutes a day with me here. Stay learning. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.